Welcome to the Home Team Podcast. I'm Carl Falconer.
And I'm Danny Arroyo.
And we're tackling homelessness. Today in our podcast, we'll discuss two of our passions, football and ending homelessness. Please join us through 4 quarters with our topic this week being, what are the best ways to support and not hinder a housing-focused agency? All right, Danny, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah. How about that?
Yes, we're back.
So technically, this is the 3rd episode of the 2nd season.
Mm-hmm.
We did a special draft episode, and then we also did a NFL schedule episode.
Yep.
So now we're in the preseason.
Preseason.
How about that? Football's back.
It just started.
All right.
Yep. My team won, so it started good.
There you go. My team won too.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
We're 1-0 in the preseason. How about that? Good. All right. Good. All right. Well, we're going to start off like we always do with the coin toss. So, Danny, call it in the air.
Heads.
It is tails.
All right.
So I will start us off. All right. Well, welcome to our first quarter. We're going to kick off by discussing our topic of the week, and then we will cover some news headlines. Let's start our discussion this week with our question. What are the best ways to support and not hinder a housing-focused agency? So, Danny, we'll go over a couple of the do's and don'ts basically for each of these.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of ways for people to get involved with organizations to help us, to support us, to be able to do things with us. But let's go through some of these, and we'll talk about kind of what are some of the do's and the don'ts of each of these.
Yep.
Let's start with in-kind donations. People are real big on in-kind donations. So talk about some of the things that we need, some of the things that you've seen.
Yeah, I think we need a bunch of different things because of the population we serve and how we serve them.
Yeah.
For the units that we have or the people living here, we definitely need the essentials for those units.
Yep.
Bedding, toiletries, anything to make their stay, comfortable. Then our outreach team, we definitely need a lot out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Like ponchos and hygiene products and water, especially during the summertime.
Yep.
Insect repellent, of course, living in cabins and all that. So we need a little bit of everything because of how our organization runs.
Right.
So yeah, we need.
I think one of the things about in-kind donations that people have to know is, number one, they need to be good, usable items.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will just start emptying out their closets or emptying out their garages or whatever with anything that they have. And sometimes it's trash. Sometimes there's a reason why it's been in the garage for a year or it's been, in the back of your closet for, a decade or something, is because you never use it because it's no good.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think that organizations really struggle with is we want to take in-kind donations, but we got to make sure it's usable things.
Yeah,
otherwise
it goes down the process of how we're getting things and moving things out, and because if we have to go through it and throw out stuff, and it takes time.
It takes time and energy and all of that, and sometimes it even costs us. Sometimes it costs us money to have stuff thrown out.
That's true.
I think the other thing which you touched on a little bit is you got to educate yourself on what the need of the specific agency is. Each agency is different.
Yep.
So like you said, we need outreach items. We need resident, fixtures for their house. Not everybody has housing. Not everybody has an outreach team. So really educate yourself on the agency, what it is that the agency is looking for specifically.
And I think a lot of people want to donate furniture.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yep.
However, we don't have the room
That's right.
for that. But I think furniture is one of those things they always ask for and asking if, do you need a bed or do you need a mattress? And
absolutely.
we would love to take those. We just don't have the space for it.
So. That's right. But we are opening our thrift stores.
Yes, we are. Yep.
Once that comes in,
then we can.
That's where big furniture usually goes, the thrift store or something like that. All right. Next is volunteers. Obviously we can all use volunteers. I think the 2 things that I have written here specifically for it is make sure that you call ahead and coordinate.
Right.
There's nothing worse than somebody just showing up and saying, I want to volunteer, and we haven't coordinated anything. Look, we have a working office, a working apartment complex here. And so it takes coordination and time. We're going to have to pull staff off of something in order to have volunteers on site.
And we also have to buy whatever it is that they need to do the work. So if they're working on the
Sure.
ground, they have to paint. We have to coordinate that, buy all
That's
the
right.
paint and the rollers, and especially when it's a big group, we definitely have to coordinate that. But no, I mean, yeah, we can use all the volunteers we can, and
Absolutely.
we have, and we
Yeah.
put them pretty much everywhere on our organization.
Yeah.
So we definitely
think-
volunteers. Yeah.
I think the other thing is it's really good if you have special skills
Yeah.
and letting the organization know that you have some special skills.
Mhm.
If you're an attorney, that can be helpful sometimes,
Mhm.
and it doesn't necessarily have to be a criminal attorney.
Right.
Tax attorneys are great.
Mhm.
Estate attorneys are great. I mean, all kinds of, special skills that people, accountants are really good to have.
Mhm.
They can come in and help people budget and do things like that. So, if you have special skills, let the organization know
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
All right. What's the next one, Danny?
Next one is tours.
Uh-huh.
So kind of like volunteers, is we want to schedule them in advance.
That's right.
And make sure that people are coming in and we're showing them around our property and kind of give them a little history of the organization and what we're doing. And definitely ask questions. I mean, we usually end those tours with, if you have any questions,
That's right.
we're here. We'll answer anything you want us to answer. And, but yeah, I mean, scheduling them is definitely something we have
Oh,
to do,
yeah.
because
Absolutely.
we're constantly very busy here and we try to make time for everyone to come out.
That's right.
We got to schedule them. So,
But it's a great way to get to know the organization a lot deeper.
Mhm.
And people who give tours at organizations typically are really know the organization really well. And so they can give you a lot more information than just what they're going to show you on the
yeah.
tour.
And I think, and we've seen it, as people come in and we explain everything we do, they kind of leave in shock because of how much we do.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just think we do housing and that's it. And then we talked about the culinary program. We talked to them about everything else. They're like,
That's right.
oh, I didn't know you did that much here.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So,
Yeah. Next one is community advocacy. So we can always use this. And again, you don't have to be an expert in our field
Mhm.
to be an advocate for the things that we want. Education, get more education about homelessness, learn about it, and listen to our podcast, just educate yourself about homelessness, talk to your neighbors and or your politicians in your area. Every jurisdiction has a politician in their area, a local politician, and you should be talking to them about affordable housing, about getting people off of the streets, about
Homelessness in general.
services. Yeah.
Just homelessness in general. Yeah.
And then join groups. There's a great group here called Support Our Shelters here in Orlando. That's fantastic. They have a lot of really great events that you can go to learn more. They talk with politicians. They have people come and speak, experts. So you get involved in the groups.
Yep.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. And the last one is funding. Offer new ways to raise funds and then just give.
Give.
I mean,
Absolutely.
give whatever you want to give. We'll, except furniture, like we said.
Yeah.
But everything else, we need it to help our residents and the community. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
all right. So now let's look at a headline from the homeless world. This story comes to us from CBS News. So from Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas Cowboys. Fire Station 8 in Fort Worth, Texas is what is called a safe baby site, a place where desperate parents can leave a baby they are unable to care for. Earlier this month, a little one was left right at the base of Fire Station's flagpole, a dog named Jake. Accompanying Jake was a note that read, "His name is Jake. If you really care about helping babies, please help my baby." You could tell he's been loved. Fort Worth Fire Captain Jason Bryant told CBS News about Jake. Super healthy, super strong. You could tell he hadn't missed a meal. Jake had been living with a homeless man named Tom Miner. But Miner became homeless a couple of years ago after his landlord told him he couldn't keep his dog. We see that a lot
Oh, yeah.
with
Absolutely.
us, people not wanting to leave their pets behind.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Jake had been living with a homeless man. Milner said he ran from the fire station after dropping Jake off because he couldn't look back. But then came to the bright side. The crew at the fire station decided to keep Jake as their own. Then Miner got a new place too when the Fort Worth Fire Department convinced a local business to donate a camper to him. The fire department also provided supplies and arranged for him to see a dentist, doing everything it could to make sure Miner gets back on his feet. One day he's coming home, Miner said. If he can hand Jake back over to Tom, I think that's the happy ending everybody wants, Bryant said. I think there'll be 30 grown men bawling.
Yeah. I
Pretty cool.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree at that. And I think it's, there's a couple of really cool things about this story. Obviously them taking in the dog and doing all that, but they went a step further as they looked at the human behind the dog
Mhm.
because that's the dog's family.
Right.
That's the human's family. And so they really took it that step further to try and help the person
Right.
because they understand, look, as wonderful as the dog is in the fire station, the dog wants to be with his owner.
Yeah.
And
It's family.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so having them both get back on their feet is absolutely outstanding. And like you said, a lot of places won't accept pets. Or, you can't keep pets at either residences that you go into or shelters or other
Shelters
places
is a
like
big
that.
one. Yeah,
The
shelters
shelters,
is a big one, and people rather just
absolutely.
stay on the street than lose their dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Which makes this a really wonderful story.
yeah.
All right. Well, now let's take a look at the keys to our Bears and Cowboys winning this year. All right. So
All right.
football's back. So
Yep.
it's time to talk a little bit of football. It's still the preseason, so everybody's 0-0 for the season. We all have hopes of the Super Bowl, right, Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into the Super Bowl this year, right?
Of course. It's what we look forward to every
Right,
year.
exactly. All right. Well, I'll start with the Bears
Mhm.
first. A couple of keys for the Bears. Caleb needs to increase his accuracy.
Mhm.
I heard a statistic last year that he was the third worst. He had the third worst completion rate behind Shedeur Sanders
Mhm.
and JJ McCarthy of
Mm.
Minnesota.
Okay.
And then there was Caleb. And if you think about the Bears season, we had a great season.
Did yeah. You had a really
I mean,
good season.
but the reality is if he can improve his accuracy,
Mhm.
that changes the entire game plan of what the Bears are trying to do.
Mhm.
Hopefully we won't have those, fourth quarter heart attack wins. That's
Right. You had a lot of those last year. My God. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get ahead and stay ahead.
Yeah.
Our defense needs to stay healthy. We got a lot of key pieces. So just like last year, I predicted about eight weeks in, we'll start getting the hang of everything.
Yeah.
I think this year, I'm talking maybe week 4, week 5, because we have a lot of new defensive pieces
Mhm.
in place. I don't think Ben Johnson was very happy with our defense last week
Right.
or last year. So I think if our defense can stay healthy and we can get those new pieces in place,
Mhm.
I think we can have a better defense.
Yeah.
And then finally, a new running back emerges. We have DeAndre Swift there, but he's getting up in age a little bit, and I'd like to see one of the younger guys come up, maybe Kyle Monungai or somebody like that, step up as a running back because we're going to need something in the future for that as well. And how about the Cowboys?
Well, our defense was just horrible last year,
my
so
gosh.
we know that. So they hired Christian Parker as a defensive coordinator
Mhm.
to install a fresh scheme and a 3-4 defensive alignment.
Yeah.
Our rookie impact, they drafted a standout safety, Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
We talked about him before, who immediately shined and stabilized the secondary in training camp. And then some personal additions, they traded for edge rusher Rashawn Gary
Mhm.
and signed linebacker Dean Winters to inject speed and toughness into front seven. So
Yeah.
again, our defense was just bad.
It was terrible.
We got killed on
It was terrible.
almost every game. And I hope now with this new defensive gentleman, we can
Yeah.
do
And he's coming from Green Bay. And Green Bay had a pretty good defense.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So I think,
I hope he's going to reshape kind of that
yeah.
defensive
Yeah.
line.
If they can do anything on the defensive side, I mean, they should be in good position. Although the Giants got kind of an upgrade with their, offense and also with their head coach and everything. And so, so it's going to, I mean, they're in a tough division.
Yeah, I think
They're
the Giants are a
definitely
good
tough
team to
division.
watch too. I think they're going to have a decent year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
I agree.
not good for us.
No, not good. No.
I mean, usually play them at least twice.
Well, I was going to say y'all play them in the opener.
The opener,
As a matter of fact,
That's
I think it's Sunday. Is it Sunday night?
It's Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah, and the opener of the season.
Let's see how that starts our
That's going to
season.
be, that's going to be a good
It's
one.
gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely. But it might take a little while for them to adjust with the defensive changes,
Right.
the new scheme, the new coach, the new players.
Yeah.
Might take them a little while to adjust. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully the offense starts out really hot.
Those
right?
games are always good with the Giants. So I'm from New York, so it's like
There you go. Exactly.
all right. So that wraps up our first quarter, and now here's a short message about a campaign we have going on right now at Pathlight Home. Hey everyone, Danny here from Pathlight Home. I've got a challenge for you, and it's a pretty simple one. Carl thinks he knows which NFL team has the best fans, but here's our chance to prove him wrong. Carl's Jersey Challenge is happening now. Choose your favorite NFL team and make a donation to Pathlight Home. Every dollar donated counts as a vote for your team. And remember, this isn't about how many people vote, it's about which team raises the most money. So rally your friends, rally your family, rally your fellow fans, because on August 31st, Carl is going to put on the jersey of the team with the most donations. And the best part, your donation isn't just supporting your team, it's helping Pathlight Home provide housing and supportive services to people experiencing homelessness. So who's got the best fans? Prove it. Donate for your team. Scan the QR code, make your donation, and let's see which fan base shows up for Pathlight Home. Watch us on August 31st and see if Carl is wearing your team's colors.
This is the second quarter. We're getting a little deeper into our homelessness topic with something we call offense versus defense. We'll each take turns discussing some opposing viewpoints for our topic this week. The question we asked this week, is it better or worse for people to offer actual housing units to nonprofits to utilize? Please remember that we're trying to show both sides of the issue. These do not necessarily reflect our individual stances on these positions. So this is a good question, I think, for us to talk about. It really kind of, not only does it get to the heart of what we're trying to do, obviously housing units, there's some pros and cons that go along with it. So, all right, I'll start on offense first. Danny, and this is basically, yes, we want people to either donate or offer housing units for us to be able to use. The first reason for them doing this would be rapid scaling. Leasing existing units bypasses years of zoning approvals, environmental reviews, and construction delays. When we can just go out and find units that are already in the market that we can just, just get, that obviously makes it easier for us. Cost efficiency. Organizations avoid massive upfront capital expenditures, large mortgages, and long-term property depreciation risk. Obviously, if we can get those things without having to build anything or rehab anything, that certainly makes it a whole lot more cost efficient. Flexible capacity. Nonprofits can easily scale unit counts up or down based on our current grant funding or community needs. So if we need more units or we need less units, oftentimes with master leases, we see that we master lease some units here.
We do.
And we go up and we go down and we go back and forth depending on what the capacity is. Community integration. Scattered site units prevent the concentration of poverty and help clients integrate into diverse neighborhoods. So it's always good to get out into multiple neighborhoods rather than having one setting, where everybody
One
is.
area, yep.
And then finally, leverage funding. Donors and government grantors favor programs where funds directly house people rather than funding administrative real estate holdings. So rather than, giving money towards land or something that we might, that the nonprofit might actually gain some acquisition off of, it's better if they just fund or pay a landlord, basically. Sorry, I have one more. Focus on the mission. The staff can stay focused on delivering case management, medical services, instead of managing major construction projects. And we've run into that. We own all of our properties. And so sometimes we get a little bit into the weeds on the capital and the rehab and all that stuff, and it gets away from the case management and the actual units, managing the people who are in the unit. So those are all advantages, I think, for people donating or giving housing to us.
So my defense against housing units, landlord relations. Nonprofits face constant friction with owners over property damage, tenant behavior, and strict lease compliance. Financial risk. Under master leases, the nonprofit is legally responsible for rent and severe damages if a client defaults or destroys property. Sometimes payments get held up by funders' bureaucracy. Market vulnerability. Rising market rents or landlords refusing to renew leases can abruptly displace clients and disrupt program continuity. Dual roles. Case managers often get stretched thin, acting as both social workers and property managers, leading to high turnover. Funding mismatches. Public grants often restrict cash use, making it hard to cover sudden unbudgeted property repairs or legal fees. And finally, low zoning and NIMBYism. We hear about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Neighborhood backlash can tie up nonprofit resources in public hearings or administrative battles.
Yeah. So I'll talk about some of yours first, and then you can talk about some of the advantages. So I think some of the disadvantages, like you talked about the financial risk, it's really about that landlord relations, though, is you've got to be able to find a landlord that you can work with that understands your population and works around what the barriers are for your population. Again, it's like us being a landlord here. We work with a lot of nonprofits, a lot of organizations, and I think we keep the barriers as low as we possibly can keep them.
Right.
And so it's really that landlord relation, and then the financial risk. Landlords all the time are looking sometimes to sell their properties or get rid of their properties. And whenever there's a change of hands between properties, almost always the leases go up, and it changes the budget. It changes where people are.
Yeah.
And it can really disrupt a lot of people that way. So I think those are the big ones, really more than anything is those two things with the landlord.
Yeah, I think the first one for you, the rapid scaling, leasing existing units, it bypasses zoning, and we've seen that.
Absolutely.
How long something takes to
Yeah,
get a permit
absolutely.
and zoning, and
Yep.
and then do people want it in their community, and
Yep,
it's
that's
just,
right.
it's so many hurdles we have to jump through just to get
Yeah,
some type of housing.
that's right.
And then also the kind of the master lease, going back to that, it's something that we do here now, and it's worked really well. Where we've started with a couple of units and the programs run well, and then they come back and say, "Can you give us more units?"
That's right.
And so now we're catering to a different population that we normally
That's right.
serve,
Yeah.
and it's been working well. So I think master leases is something great that we do.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, having that flexibility, but again, I think that's ultimately, the landlord relations that you have is really what it comes back down to. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think just real quick, and then also kind of talking to different landlords, but educating them, like we said earlier, right? Educating them on
That's
the
right.
population we serve, so they can understand, so they're not blindsided by someone coming in who
Right.
is struggling with some substance abuse or some mental disorder.
That's right.
They kind of understand. So as long as we're transparent and let them know this is, the population we serve, and educate, and we're here if you have any questions or we can help you. I mean and we build those relationships.
Well, and I think that's a big part of it is that support is we're the support system for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that the education, I think it's really important, because if they understand our mission and they understand our population, what we're trying to do,
Right.
rather than them just seeing us as someone who just rents units or someone who just leases units or whatever. If they understand our mission,
Right.
then I think that goes a long way to them helping support us in a different kind of way.
Right.
Because, people walk off the streets and all they're interested in is, did you pay your rent? Right. And that's
Right.
pretty much it. That's not us. We have different methods and different missions that we're trying to
Right.
accomplish here with the people that we're serving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Pathlight's position, Pathlight Home is always trying to increase the number of housing units for people experiencing homelessness. The key to determining whether housing units being offered comes down to the arrangements before anyone moves in. Everyone must be clear on all the details of the housing prior to anyone moving into the units.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we
And
just said.
That's
So,
exactly
yep.
right. All right. Well, we have made it to the halfway point, and during halftime, we want to take a moment to highlight an inspired quote related to homelessness.
All right. So time to get inspired by our quote of the week. This quote comes from Gloria Steinem. It is more rewarding to watch money change the world than to watch it accumulate.
Yeah. And I read an article recently, and one of the things that they talked about in that article is people who accumulate money are often not happy. And the reason they're not happy is because they don't have purpose.
Right.
Is you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have purpose, you're still not going to reach happiness in the world. And I think that's kind of what this gets to, is this gets to the purpose of it, having money just to have money. It doesn't really do anything. You need to have a purpose
Yeah.
behind that.
Yeah.
And trying to change the world with money is a great purpose.
Right? Which is what we said in the beginning was, you want to give, you can give.
Yeah.
You can buy
Yeah.
stuff to give us and then kind of help us out. And so, yeah, always give it forward, right?
Yeah,
That's what we
absolutely.
want to do.
Yeah.
So,
And that concludes our halftime. Please stay with us after this short message.
What if something as simple as a donation could help someone find a place to call home? At Pathlight Home, we believe everyone deserves a safe place to live and the support they need to rebuild their life. Your donation helps provide housing, supportive services, and opportunities for people experiencing homelessness right here in Central Florida. So while you're listening to the Pathlights Home Team podcast, take a moment to make a difference, because a home can be the beginning of everything.
All right, it's now time to kick off the third quarter by highlighting the goodwill and good work in the NFL community and taking some questions from our listener.
All right, great. We'll start with our NFL MVP. Our NFL Spotlight player for this week is the Green Bay Packers wide receiver, Matthew Golden. He's embracing a bigger opportunity heading into his second season in the NFL and giving back to the community. Golden, the first wide receiver for the Packers selected in the first round in 23 years. Wow. Finished his rookie year without a touchdown in the regular season. Now with a larger role expected following departures of Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks, Golden is focused on taking a step forward in year two. That growth was on display off the field Saturday morning as Golden stayed in the Green Bay area to host a youth football camp in Titletown. The event brought in more than 500 campers and offered them a chance to learn fundamentals, run drills, and spend time with an NFL player who says giving back is important to him. The location also carried special meaning for Golden. His first public appearance in Green Bay came on the same field when he attended an NFL camp the day before the 2025 NFL draft. At the time, Golden didn't know he'd end up as a Packer. I wasn't drafted yet, but after being drafted, it's kind of like my hometown now, man, Golden said. So I try to do as much as I can to give back to the community. This is how I was raised, just always trying to give back in any way. Golden said he enjoys watching young players fall in love with the game the same way he did. This is one of the ways that I decided to do it, he said. I just like coming out here and watching the kids play football because at the time when I was younger, this is what I was doing. So it's kind of cool just to see it. With a new season approaching, Golden hopes for the same energy and connection he felt at camp carries over to the field as he prepares a key year two with the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, good. Always giving back.
Always, yep.
And again, they always talk about hometown, right? It is whenever they go to a place, it becomes their hometown. And I can almost guarantee that wherever his hometown is, he's probably giving back there as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And when you move to a new state, the football fans kind of support you and make you their family. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. So now we're going to take a few questions from our listeners. So, Carl, the first question comes from Terry.
Okay.
When giving to a nonprofit, how much should the organization be spending on administrative costs?
Ooh, this is a big one. And people are often worried about this. And it's a little bit different for each organization. And I want to say this clearly to the listening audience out there. We are nonprofits, but we have to run our businesses. Right. And so there are administrative costs that goes along with every business. Anybody who tells you that they're giving 100% or whatever to their cause is not going to be around very long. Why? Because you need people to run your organization. You need people to do this work. And in particular, in the homeless field, you need professionals to do this work. Now, should it be a huge amount? No. Generally, what I've seen is anywhere from 10 to 15% of your total budget is good for administrative costs. So generally in that area, you're pretty close. If it gets above 15%, you got to start asking why that is exactly. But for the most part, about 10 to 15% is about the administrative.
That's how we keep it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think last year, I want to say I saw the number 11%, I think was our administrative last year or something.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So somewhere in that area. Yeah.
All right. So our next question comes from Jackson. So what should I do if an organization doesn't want to take my items for donation? So we just said, we don't take furniture.
Don't get upset. Don't get upset.
Yeah.
If an organization does not want to take your donation, your in-kind donation, the reality is they have a reason for that. Right. I mean, there's a reason. Sometimes they don't have room to take the stuff. Sometimes it's not what their need is.
Correct.
We talked about outreach. Not everybody has an outreach team. So if you're giving outreach items that are good for people out on the streets, some people aren't going to take that. What you should do is you should ask them if there's another organization that can take them or they can be referred to, because ultimately we're all connected and we all know a lot of other organizations. And so we know what other organizations need as well, generally in our sphere.
And I was just going to say that we do that a lot. When we get things that we just can't use, like we don't serve infants. We don't, so we get baby clothes.
Yeah.
We have other organizations we know they do, and we're like, we refer them over to that location. So that way we don't end up throwing it out, right? We don't want to take stuff that, so we refer all the time to where they can go to take it. But always asking, before dropping off, you should always ask, can you take this?
Exactly.
Do you have room for that?
That's right.
And if we say no, then we'll direct you somewhere else to take it. And I think that kind of will keep it flowing. So
and going back to our segment earlier is again about coordinating it.
Right.
You don't just want to show up with a trunk load of stuff and just say, hey, I'm here to dump off stuff to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, if you haven't coordinated with them, if you don't know about the organization, you might get a no.
Yep.
They might look at you and say, look, I just can't take this.
Yeah. And other organizations do that with us. They'll call us and say, hey, can you take this?
That's right. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Sure, bring
Absolutely. Because they know us.
Yeah.
Because they know us.
And the
exactly.
population we serve. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, stay tuned for our wrap up after this message. Hi, I'm Carl Falconer, President and CEO of Pathlight Home. Have you ever wondered what it really takes to end homelessness? Why don't you come see for yourself? At Pathlight Home, you can tour our communities, volunteer your time, and be part of real, lasting change. Whether you're serving a meal, supporting our residents, or making a gift, every action moves someone closer to a place to call home. Visit us, get involved, and help us light the path home for our neighbors in need. Thank you.
Welcome to the fourth quarter, where we will wind down this episode by reflecting on a homelessness MVP, discussing a fumble, and finishing up with our key takeaway.
All right, let's start with our homelessness MVP of the week. This comes to us from Louisville, Kentucky. Metro Louisville announced Thursday that $1.1 million in grant funding is available to local nonprofits working to tackle and prevent homelessness. Mayor Craig Greenberg, a Democrat in Louisville, announced the funding, which city leaders said is intended to support people experiencing homelessness and help keep vulnerable residents safe, particularly during winter weather. So I guess it gets a little bit cold in Louisville, right?
Yes, it does.
This particular funding is crisis support, said Josh Sweatman, a co-director of the Louisville Metro Office of Social Services. So the main purpose for the Homeless Initiative funds is to increase the safety and security of all of our neighbors to make sure that the most vulnerable in our community are safe, particularly during the winter season and during winter weather. Mm-hmm. Sweatman said the money will support three key areas: emergency shelter to increase the number of beds, intensive case management for people at high risk, and inclement weather hotel vouchers. This is one that we try to ensure safety for the community to make sure that during times of inclement weather that folks have a place to go, that they have support, and ultimately that we can help keep them safe, Sweatman said. Donald Smith, who said he has been living on the street for the past couple of years, said homelessness has been difficult and dangerous. It's horrible for me, Smith said. A guy swung a machete at me because I wouldn't give him $1. And I'm like this, and he chased me. Smith said he uses shelters and other resources while trying to improve his situation. I don't want to be here. Honestly, I don't, Smith said. I'd want to go with my mama because this is heart-wrenching. Smith said funding could help both people experiencing homelessness and support them. I think it will help a lot and take some of the pressure off the churches that are trying to do stuff, the little, small help centers and things like that, Smith said. That would be great. The organization's already trying to help us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're getting ready for the winter season.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have a game plan of what they want to do.
I love the pre-planning. Mm-hmm. The pre-planning is really important for them in particular because I think it helps them really make sure that they're ahead of the game. As again, now they can start talking to different organizations. They can start talking to shelters. They can start talking to people and making a plan around that.
Start coordinating, and when it's time for winter and it gets really cold, now they know what they're going to do to get people.
We shouldn't think of the emergencies only when the emergency happens, right? We try and pre-plan that.
Everybody's scrambling, and we kind of miss those that need the most help. But
absolutely,
this is great what they're doing there. So
yeah.
All right, so now on to our fumble of the week. So St. Paul, Minnesota, kind of the opposite now, shut down the city's largest homeless encampment Wednesday, with crews moving in to begin removing the camp at Pig's Eye Park. I just don't really know what to do, said Fox, who lived at the encampments. A lot of people are losing a lot. I'm losing pretty much everything again, and that's hard. The city said it's increasing services to help people transitioning into housing. So again, this is just moving people.
Another one that's moving people around. Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the thing about the article doesn't mention things like housing. Doesn't talk about whether they have housing enough or whether they have affordable housing, which again, in most locations we know is just not the case. It's just not available to people. And unfortunately, we keep seeing these types of things. As opposed, again, to Louisville, Kentucky, where they're trying to do something different and trying to make sure that people have a place to stay rather than taking away places for people to
And we've talked about this before when encampments being closed down. It's like, okay, if you want to close it, that's fine.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
Right.
Because
take them in the house.
I mean, and if you don't, they're just going to move to another encampment. It's like the cycle just continues. They just have to do better when they're planning these type of things. They coordinate better.
Exactly. Different neighborhood, same problem, same issue. It just moves around. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, finally, here's our key takeaway for this episode. There are lots of great ways to get involved with providers to help us end homelessness. But ask the provider and educate yourself before you start helping to make sure your help doesn't turn into a hindrance. And I think that's the key, is really just reaching out and coordinating beforehand with the provider.
Yep, definitely. All right, and that concludes our episode for the week. Remember, if you have any questions or comments for us, please email us at questions@pathlightHome.org. As always, we leave the last words for our beloved co-founder, the late Reverend Fred Maxwell. Take it away.
I'm still dreaming. That we will become able and sufficient to increase the housing of homeless. This is merely a beginning.